Hello, YouTube. This is Cherokee Love coming at you at night. I have a story to tell about fourth dimension that I have been to when I was fasting for 5 days. I think the secret to see things is to cleanse your body, make sure you don't have meat or any toxic that's in your body, but drink plenty of water, drink plenty of natural fruits and vegetables you can make on your own, grow your own stuff, which a lot of us don't do. But a lot of people from YouTube don't tell you this. When you fast, you able to see a lot of things that's going on around you, but not everybody will be able to see what others can see because everybody might not always have the same gift of seeing things. But it's all about, like for myself, I always have imagination. I always have imagination of thinking of things that's going to happen in a good way, and thinking I'm in a picture of doing something, and all the things happening because it's happened because I believe it. And I guess you can say I'm a manifester. Okay, let me talk about my story and what happened. I was working with a company, and I've been working in a company for a very long time. And all of a sudden, I took a 30-minute break. I normally when you take a break, I like to take my break when I like to go to sleep. Just get a little rest where I can be able to stay up and alert, because I used to work at night. And working at night is something I don't want to do anymore. But I learned a lot from it. It's hard because you got to go sleep during the day, and when you work at night, it's a whole new different story. Because it's hard to stay up at night when you have to do your job. So, as for me, I will tell you the location. I will tell you the name of the company, but I'm not going to just put that on the video because that's confidential. But at the same time, I want to tell you something interesting that happens to me when I'm at work. And even though I'm supposed to share it with a lot of people, because I know that some people don't understand because they never experienced what I have experienced. But in a good way, I'm sure that we can all experience some things that happens in our lives. So, from my experience, when I fasted for like 3 or 4 days, I think it's the third day, because I was just drinking nothing but water. And what I did the first day, I had lemon juice. And normally when I have a juicer or a squeezer, I will squeeze all the lemons into the juice and drink about 18 ounces. And then I drink the whole water just to cleanse my system out. So that's how I started my fast. And when I started my fast, it's hard. It's hard because you're surrounded by people that eat food. And I live right by many places, restaurants that serve so many foods. So many restaurants. I live right by 5 or 6 different pizza places, and I'm talking about different pizza names. And a lot of people in my neighborhood would gain weight easily, especially during this time, during this hard time right now. Especially when people are not working and they have to order food. But going back to this fourth dimension thing, because I said I know I get off a little subject on the fourth dimension. I remember when I got on my break, and I normally meditate, And I normally meditate, and normally I fall asleep when I meditate. So when I start meditating to get my mind clear, to get my mind focused, to make sure my mind is not cloudy or anything, and next thing you know it, I went to sleep, and it seemed like I went somewhere, and I'm not sure where I was at, but I saw all these computers that's surrounded by, it looks like a normal room with full of computers. And I saw a being, and being looks like human. And I was wondering, okay, I must be at a different dimension. I know it may not be on Earth, but it's similar to Earth in a way. But I was in a room, and I know from somehow, some way, I'm not at my job. So, and a man come to me, and I think it's a being, because I think they don't call themselves human like we do. So he came up to me, and he said, "What you doing here?" I said, "I'm just here." So I didn't really think nothing of it, because I'm, in my spirit is not fearful, I guess you could say. But from somehow my higher self, just like whatever. My higher self, like, I like to enjoy myself wherever I go. So I think my higher self is a cool being that just let it ride, just lay back, just not worrying about anything, not being fearful. But I guess when you on this earth, sometimes our parents, believe it or not, would teach us to be fearful, because children are not fearful beings until their parents taught them to be fearful. And children are the innocent soul. They can easily manipulate by spirits than adults. But then again, I take that back, because sometimes adults can be manipulated by spirits too, if they fearful, if they sad, angry, and stuff like that. Sometimes they can be feed off from dark entities. They can enter to their bodies, and sometimes we don't realize that a lot of us have spirits in our bodies as well. We have souls in our bodies besides our souls, because they feed off our energy, and we may not realize that. Sometimes we might think the pain might come from eating bad or whatever, but sometimes it can also come from spirits that we're trying to feed off in our energy. But let's not go into that, because we're talking about fourth dimension, okay? So I was there for a short while, and then all of a sudden I came back into my body, and I was like, wow. I just couldn't believe it. I just went to another dimension. And believe it or not, I didn't do this intentionally, but, I would just lay there meditating, and next thing you know it, you just never know where your spirit will take you. Because believe it or not, when we go to sleep at night, we normally don't be in our bodies. Our spirit will be somewhere, roaming around somewhere. And sometimes we get up in the morning, we be forgetting how we went to bed, because we might fall into a sleep. But sometimes our spirit will leave us and go to somewhere else, and we may not remember where we was going, but we always come back to our bodies, and we wake up. Sometimes the spirit will come back to the bodies, and people will wake up with sleep paralysis, because there are times our body was shut down. And I had an issue before, because sometimes it's not because the spirits in the room, it's because we will fight our energy, our spirit, to wake up. You see, so that's really my story. I know it's a long story. I'm just blessed to be able to see things that I'm seeing, and sometimes it can be very very disturbing in ways, because if you're a person that's empath and you get around people, it's no joke. You be able to sense their energy, sense their feelings, and you start feeling what they feeling, and you start, it's hard when you're an empath. You be in that room, you're a very sensitive being, because when you be in a room with people that's very negative, it just bothers you. It's terrible. That's the terrible thing about being an empath. And I didn't realize how much empath I really am until I got grown. So, because I'm always grew up being a loner, not saying I'm lonely, but I'm always the kind that's, people would say, that's gifted, and I never really one of those people that go out and try to display myself as such, because I'm always have been an introverted individual. But this story had really made me see that there are other beings on other planets and other dimensions, and we're not alone. And I'm not going to be surprised if there are beings that's on this planet that kind of look like us, but they're not us. But there are sometimes we might be connected to other beings that could be our family that's looking out for us. You never know. You never know until you experience things yourself and you experience things that's going on around you. And I'm a witness to that, and I never thought that I'm sharing this, but I am. Especially this time of night. I usually always get caught up being busy, doing this, doing that. But after what's going on around us for the last 6 months, about 6 months or so, I have to sit down and really think about my whole life and what I'm doing. Because we all have to sit down and really rethink of what we need to do and how we need to live. Because we have been slaves to the system for so many years until we no longer think that freedom exists. And as for me, learning by myself was a very important thing for me. When I learned by myself, I finally realized who I truly am. A lot of us don't. We was taught to be something we're not. In this reality, we was taught to be something that can hinder us for what we can do with our talents. Because we are very talented people. We just got to know our rights and our capability of what we can do to make great things happen for us. And what I'm seeing around us, I learned to be very careful what I'm doing, where I'm going, and who I'm involved myself with. Life is precious. It can be joyous. But when you're not careful what is around you, you will set yourself on fire. And that's a known fact. So I'm learning a lot from my past. And I will talk on another topic after this. And I know that I've been saying in the past that I was going to do this stuff. And I know I've been holding off a while. But I'm sure that a lot of people would be so interested in learning my side of the story about a lot of things. And who knows? Good things will come. And you never know what could happen. Thank you for taking your time to listen to my story. Subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you. Talk to you later.